Welcome back to part 19 of my DIY autonomous mobile robot building series. Today in part 19, using Fusion 360, we will create cutouts in the lower body for the left and right wheels and the rear caster wheel to poke through without interfering with the body. We will also form an underside opening to allow the battery holder to be removed and inserted. If you're just joining us, be sure to check out parts 1 through 18. The links are in the description and the full playlist is at the end of this video. Okay, carrying on from part 18, let's tilt the design to see the underside, and you can see that the wheels are just penetrating through the body shell, so let's design some openings for the wheels. Right click on the left wheel and isolate it. Create a new component and label it Wheel Tool. Select the top surface of the wheel and create a new sketch. Select the circle tool and sketch a 70mm diameter circle on the origin, which is slightly larger than the wheel itself. Select the Extrude tool. On the Extrude palette, select two sides for direction. Enter 2mm for the outer side, and let's navigate to the front view. And I finalized on 18mm for the inner side of the wheel tool. Hit OK. Let's unhide the side elevation sketch as a reference. Unhide the lower body. Select the outer edge of the wheel tool and apply a 5mm fillet. Then let's select the inner edge of the wheel tool and apply a 4mm fillet. Hit OK and navigate to the front view. Actually, I ended up editing the fillet feature for the outer edge and changing it to a 6mm fillet. As you can see, the fillets enable a smooth curved opening for the wheel. Hide the lower body, select the mirror tool, select the wheel tool as the object to be mirrored, and let's unhide the origin planes. Select the YZ plane as the mirror plane and hit OK. And there we have an exact copy of the wheel tool for the right wheel. Unhide the lower body and select the combine tool. Although not shown in the footage, the actual wheels have been hidden by the stage so that they don't disappear together with the wheel tools. Select the lower body as the target body and each wheel tool as tool bodies. The operation is already set to cut, so we can just hit OK. Here the footage has jumped ahead. I think Fusion 360 crashed on me from memory. Anyway, we have finished the cut operation using the combine tool and the wheels have been unhidden. We can right click and remove the wheel tool now, which will automatically remove the mirrored wheel as well. Unhide the rear caster wheel. Now let's hide the lower body, and here we have the battery holder and the battery pack tab or battery holder tab unhidden in the footage. Let's go to the side view, create a new component and label it Caster Tool. Select New Sketch and select the XZ plane. Press P for Project. Project the outer periphery of the wheel guard and also the center of the caster wheel. Select the circle tool and sketch a 39.5mm diameter circle about the center of the caster wheel. Finish the sketch. Here I have swiveled the design at an angle for better visibility. Select the Extrude tool and hide the caster wheel. Then select the profile of the circle we have just sketched. Change the direction in the palette to symmetric. And let's change the measure to whole length. Extrude the circular profile by a total of 30mm. Let's hide the battery holder for now. Actually, I ended up editing a sketch of the caster tool on the timeline and changing the diameter to 41mm instead of 39.5mm just to give more clearance. Finish the sketch. Select the outer cylindrical periphery of the extruded caster tool and add a fillet of 3mm. Unhide the caster wheel to make sure it fits within the caster tool. And the caster wheel seems to fit within the caster tool even with a fillet of 3mm. But let's see if a fillet of 5mm is also okay. And yes, a fillet of 5mm seems to be no problem either, so let's settle on that. I'll just position the design to be ready for the next operation. Hide the caster wheel and scroll down and unhide the lower body. Activate the main design. Select the combine tool. Select the lower body as the target body, change the operation to cut in the palette, and select the caster tool as the tool body. Hit OK, and there we can see a cutout for the caster wheel. Here the footage has jumped ahead with the lower body hidden and the battery holder unhidden. Create a new component and label it underside opener tool. Create a new sketch and select the undersurface of the battery tab, which is a little hard to see because it isn't activated, but once you select it, it turns a faint blue color, as you can see. In the sketch mode, press P to project. Project the battery holder, the battery tab, and let's also project the left and right outermost sides of the battery holder. We don't need the projection of the switch openings, so if you want to, you can right click and select delete, and then select each side of the rectangle and hit OK to remove. Now I decided to create an offset around the perimeter of the battery holder, but I first needed to use the line tool to join each corner to the corresponding ends of the front and rear projected sides. Then right click and delete the inner left and right line segments here, as we will not be using them. Select the offset tool and select each line segment that defines the rectangular periphery of the projected battery holder. The amount of offset defaults to 1 mm, so let's adjust the offset to 6 mm and hit OK. Select the fillet tool and select each pair of adjacent sides at each corner, and then enter 6 to apply a 6 mm fillet on each corner. Select the offset tool and select the battery tab. Set the offset amount to 4 mm. Also, let's select the projected holes in the battery tab. Right click and hit delete to remove them. Finish the sketch. Select the extrude tool and select all the sections of the profile to extrude. Actually, it's probably a good idea to hide the battery tab before we extrude. Turn the design to the side view, extrude down by 15 mm and hit OK. So there we have the underside opener tool, which will be used to cut an opening in the underside of the lower body component. Unhide the lower body and activate the main design. Hide the battery holder and select the combine tool. Select the lower body as the target tool and select the underside opener tool as the tool body. The operation is already set to cut, so we can just hit OK. And there we have the underside of the lower body cut out so that the battery holder can be inserted and removed as needed. However, when viewed from the side, the cutout underside looks a little jagged and strange. So let's make a few adjustments. Let's unhide the sketch of the underside opener tool and right click and edit the sketch. Press P to project and project this underside profile and also the center line. Hit OK. Select the line tool. Make sure the line type is set to construction and sketch a construction line from this projected point on the left side at the top of the canvas to a corresponding projected point on the right side at the bottom of the canvas. From Create, select Conic Curve and sketch a curve from the construction line at the edge of the underside opener tool to the projected rearmost point here, while making sure that the line type is solid. Adjust the curve like this, or you can type in a value like this, for example 0.75, to give the kind of curve you want. To mirror this sketched curve, select the mirror tool, select the curved line as an object, and select this center line as the mirror line. Hit OK, and there we have a mirrored copy of the curved line on the right side as well. Finish the sketch. From the timeline, right-click on the extrude icon and select Edit Feature. I don't know why, but Fusion 360 has automatically changed the extrude depth to an arbitrary value. It was 15 mm before, so let's bring that back down to 15 mm. Now rotate the design back and select the sections we want to remove from the extrude operation. The footage has jumped ahead a little with all the sections we want extruded already selected. I don't know why, but the extrude distance has automatically changed again, so let's change that to 10 mm, which should be enough. Hit OK. We'll need to activate the main design to see how that went. The first thing we can notice is that the side view of the cutout underneath the lower body looks a lot better, not jagged like it was a moment ago. Here's the underside opening now, with the sketch hidden to improve visibility. Unhide the caster wheel, unhide the battery tab, and unhide the battery holder. Here the footage has jumped ahead with all the components visible. The underside is looking pretty good, but now that we have all the components showing, it looks as though the front, left and right sides of the underside opening need moving forward a little to allow the battery holder to slide out properly upon removal. So let's extend the front, left and right sides of the underside opening to where base 1 begins. Let's scroll down to the bottom on the browser, unhide the sketch for the underside opener tool, right-click and edit the sketch. Right-click on the underside opener tool and isolate it. Scroll up and unhide base 1 in the browser. Press P to project. Project the rear edge of base 1 and hit OK. Select the line tool, zoom up to the left end of the projected line and sketch a horizontal line from the left side of the opening. Then sketch a vertical line from the left end of the projected line and make it cross the horizontal line we have just sketched. Now use the coincidence tool to make the two ends of these intersecting lines meet. Do the exact same to the right side. Select the fillet tool and apply a fillet of 6 mm at the corner. Do the exact same to the corner at the left side. Finish the sketch. We'll need to first scroll down to the underside opener tool and activate it. Edit the extrude operation by right-clicking on the extrude icon in the timeline and selecting edit feature. Select the left and right extended sections at the front of the underside opener tool. Before we carry on, we need to activate the main design at the top of the browser. We also need to right-click on the main design and select Show All Components. Then scroll down to the underside opener tool and hide the sketch. And there we have the underside opening extended forward to allow the battery holder to be easily removed as necessary. Hide the lower body, and let's also hide the left and right sides of the head. Scroll up and hide the left and right wheels too. Zoom up to the side a bit and directly select this black M3 washer, which we created several videos ago. Then we can easily find this selected component in the browser. Select it in the browser too. Here the footage is jumped ahead where I have created a copy of the black M3 washer and attached it to this hole on the outer wall using the joint operation. So let's select this M3 washer, select the Move Copy tool, check Create Copy in the Move Copy palette, and move the copy away from the M3 washer we copied. Hit OK and then use the Joint tool to attach this copy of the M3 washer to another hole in the outer wall. Then continue by making another copy of each newly created M3 washer and use the Joint tool to attach the copied M3 washer to the various holes in the walls, such as the left and right battery pack rear hooks, the left and right inner walls, and the right outer wall as well. For better visibility, I did isolate some of the walls in order to add some of the M3 washers. Here, let's label each joint we've just created as M3 washer and also hide all the joints. And there we can see quite a number of M3 washers attached. To continue, click here for part 20. If the link isn't showing, part 20 isn't quite ready, but should be soon. Check the description for my upload schedule. Thank you for watching.